Today we're going to be jumping back into the comment section going over your COD Zombies hot takes. As many of you know, I have very unpopular opinions about this game mode, and I often get flamed for them, so instead of me getting flamed, I'm going to read your unpopular opinions and discuss whether I agree with them or disagree with them. As always, if you guys want to see another hot takes video in the future, let me know by dropping a like and subscribing if you're new, and leave your hottest take down below in the comments. And with that being said, let's jump into the first hot take, which is from Pringle, and she says, "The Dead of the Night crew are actually all very nice and add a huge amount of comedy and interesting dialogue and dynamic to the map." That is a hot take, and me personally, I don't agree with it. Like, me personally, I've always liked Godfrey, but aside from them, I don't really care for the other characters. I never cared for the cowboy. The brigadier has his moments. He's not totally a bad character. And the fortune teller, magician, whatever she is, I don't know. Dead of the Night's crew didn't help the chaos story. That's all I'll say. Nightmare mode in BO3 was an incredible idea. Yes, the execution was not great, but a full 6 to 8 hour Zombies campaign today would completely revitalize the mode. If it was given more love and feedback, perhaps we could have seen Zombies become its own game. You are 100% correct about this. Zombies definitely has the replayability factor as well as just the passion and the love put into it for it to be its own standalone game, like outside of Call of Duty. Do I ever think it's going to happen? Probably not. If they were ever going to do that, they should have done it in BO3. Or in between BO3 and BO4, or in BO4. I think that ship has sailed, but I would not complain if that would actually happen. But Nightmare mode itself, I mean, we weren't really supposed to take it seriously. It was a complete reskin of BO3's campaign, which BO3's campaign is widely regarded as one of the worst in this series. But a Zombies campaign would be pretty cool. Tagder Toten is actually one of my favorite maps. The Tundra gun is nowhere near as bad as people say, and very accessible and easy to get. Overall, I feel like Tag is very underrated. Honestly, I think Tag is properly rated. I don't see too many people saying it's one of the worst maps ever, nor do I see people saying it's one of the best. Most people say it's somewhere in the middle of the road. Like in a tier list, it would 100% be B tier. I think that's pretty good for Tag's rating. But yes, the Tundra gun is very underrated. The only reason people hate on it is because back when Tag first launched, it was terrible. PhD didn't work with it. Plus, I think it had like half its ammo. Also, it didn't have infinite damage, so it would fall off in like the late 20s, early 30s. But honestly, in 2023, about to be 2024, the Tundra gun probably is the best wonder weapon to use on Tag. And overall, one of the best wonder weapons in BO4. Zetsubo is a top 5 map of all time, okay? I disagree, but fair. The Ray K84 is the best version of all the ray guns. What day is it? Is today April 1st? No. It's December 31st.
Why are we playing jokes when it's not April Fool's?
And Ancient Evil would be considered a top 3 map if it was released on BO3, perhaps number 1. Honestly, I feel like Ancient Evil was perfect for BO4's gameplay engine. A lot of people say it was 9, but no, I think Ancient Evil is what perfected BO4. I honestly think that if Ancient Evil came out on BO3, it'd probably be worse. But the Ray K84 is literally one of my least favorite wonder weapons. Probably my single least favorite wonder weapon from any Treyarch game. So, I don't understand that one. Like, yes, I know that technically it is statistically the best ray gun, but it is not fun to use. It is boring. It looks like crap. Plus, it's on the worst Zombies map of all time, so no, the Ray K84 is not the best version of all the ray guns. The best version of any ray gun is still the Ray Gun Mark II Y, I think? I don't know. The Brain Rot ray gun from Alpha Omega. IW has one of the coolest / OP weapons because of variants. True. One can make you invisible, one can give you a no-scope aimbot, another gives you a dual-wield minigun, and more. It's awesome. It is awesome. Honestly, Richtofen's Revenge, I really feel like this should become a staple in future Zombies experiences. But knowing how Activision is now, we probably wouldn't get the scrap feature, or not the scrap, the salvage feature that was in IW that made most of these weapons pretty easy to obtain. So if they bring this back and they just make it to where you have to dump $25 for a weapon variant, that's going to be terrible. But if you can earn it from like getting round 100 on the launch map, and you would get the Ripper variant of the RPR, or if you beat the Easter egg in under 30 minutes, you would get the Mauler Sentinel, like stuff like that. Lock it behind challenges. Do not, for the love of God, do not lock it behind a paywall. Black Ops 4 Zombies is the second best zombies experience to exist, right behind BO3. Almost all of the maps are really great, their Easter eggs are well done, and I would say it surpasses the other games because of this. Hopefully I get featured. Well, you were featured, congratulations. And I agree with this. You know, I tout this around, I probably am the single biggest BO4 enjoyer on this planet. So, I always love to see some BO4 praise on my timeline. A lot of people ask me why I love BO4, and this dude pretty much hit the nail on the head. I like difficult Easter eggs. I don't like Easter eggs like Ascension, where you stand on a platform and ride a couple lunar landers, and that's the whole Easter egg. I don't like Easter eggs like Transit, where I place a turbine down in 2 places and throw an EMP grenade, and that's the whole Easter egg. I like challenging, long Easter eggs. And Voyage is a long, challenging Easter egg. Blood is a long, challenging Easter egg. Dead of the Night is a long, challenging Easter egg. And then you have eggs like 9 and Ancient Evil and Alpha Omega, where even though they're not really difficult, they're still really fun to fly through. Someone left a comment in one of my streams a couple weeks ago, asking me to make an in-depth video as to why I love BO4 so much. And I'm actually thinking about doing that, so if you guys want to see that video, leave a comment down below. Elixirs are better than Gobblegums. More balanced / less OP while still being worth using, and having them bound to the D-pad / number keys with cooldown is more convenient than hunting down the Gobblegum dispensers in my opinion. I disagree with this. I don't dislike the Elixir system, I actually do enjoy it, but I don't understand why they felt the need to nerf all of the mega OP Elixirs in BO4. Like, they brought back Perkaholic in BO4, and for some reason you can't get every perk, you only get 10. They brought back near-death experience. It does not last 5 rounds, it lasts 5 minutes, or I think 10 revives too. Now, with saying that though, like Nolendo said, or however you pronounce the name, I'm sorry if I butchered it, but having them bound to the D-pad and on you at all times is a lot more convenient than hunting down the Gobblegum machine. Because in a map like Blood of the Dead or Voyage of Despair, where it is just a massive map, instead of running from where Odin would be to like the aft decks to try and find a Gobblegum machine, I already have the elixirs on me, so I can just pop anywhere but here and be teleported across the map. That is good. Blood of the Dead is a great map and the Easter egg is top tier. Preach, Twilights. The KT-4 is a top 3 wonder weapon of all time. That is a hot take. I personally disagree. I don't even think it's in my top 5 favorite wonder weapons, but it is a really good wonder weapon. And it is a lot of fun to use, especially whenever you get like a max ammo and you can just spam it at the ground and you're sliding all over the place. Or not sliding, but like you're super sprinting. It's really cool. Treyarch shouldn't have allowed Mega Gobblegums to be used the first time you complete an Easter egg. I don't mind it happening now, but back in 2016, it was annoying watching YouTubers pop a Perkaholic at the start of every game. It made it less interesting. I disagree. People already had a hard enough time trying to figure out the steps in BO3's Easter eggs when the maps first came out. Could you imagine if they didn't have Shopping Free or Perkaholic or anything like that to help them get back on the step faster? Like, the Valve step on Garad Krovi legit took like a week to solve. Could you imagine if we didn't have Perkaholic or Shopping Free or Undead Men Walking or anything to try and help us debunk that step? Personally, playing without Gobblegums, it is a lot more fun than playing with Mega Gobblegums, but like, I'm just sitting here thinking, how long would it have taken to solve the rock step on Revelations if we didn't have stuff like Undead Man Walking and Phoenix Up and Gobblegums like that? That would have been insane. Zombies post BO3 is actually good. This is a hot take because anytime you say anything good about any Zombies map that came out after Revelations, you're instantly stupid. You're dumb. You're a moron. You're this, you're that. You just can't say anything good about a game that released after BO3 without people dogging on you for it. And to be honest, it's kind of ridiculous. Classified is easily the worst BO4 map. The remake is extremely weak due to it taking away much of what made 5 unique and enjoyable in the first place, like replacing the 5 crew with the OG cast, removing the Pentagon Thief, and changing the way the teleporters work. Finally, the challenge is pretty much eviscerated thanks to BO4's overpowered mechanics. And unlike other BO4 maps, this map has pretty much nothing to do except for casual high rounding. Thing is though, BO4's base weapons aren't that fun or satisfying to use. And since this map has no fun wonder weapon to compensate, like the Ancient Evil Gauntlets or Dead of the Night's Alistair's Folly, this map has nothing to offer. I do think Classified is the single worst map in BO4, but with that being said, it's not for a lot of the reasons you say. Like, let me break down your comment real quick. Replacing the 5 crew with the Ultimates crew. I honestly don't mind this change. I really don't. Removing the Pentagon Thief, 100%. That was a blunder. And changing the way the teleporters work, I actually think they work better in Classified than they did on 5. Because in 5, they just randomly teleported you anywhere. At least on Classified, you know where you're going. And the challenge is pretty much eviscerated thanks to BO4's OP mechanics. That much is true. But the Winter's Howl Unclassified is pretty fun to use, honestly. It is one of my favorite wonder weapons. The reasons I don't like Classified is, number one, they completely changed the tone of the map by lighting up all the dark areas, and the top floor of the Pentagon, where it was super white and just borderline eerie and ominous, now it feels like a miniature Shadows of Evil, you know? But there should have been a boss on this map. There should have been something on this map besides zombies, hellhounds, and novas. And I feel like this map could have stood to have a few more Easter eggs as well. BO1 Zombies was the peak of zombies. Everything after is just downfall. That is definitely a hot take. I feel like most people who say this didn't really play or try and get used to later zombies. They're just multiplayer mains who casually hopped on Kino once a month with their friends. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like most people that say this never really took the time to try and learn a map like Mob, or Origins, or Shadows of Evil, or Drak, you know? BO3's version of Beauty of Annihilation is far superior to the original version. Honestly, I agree with this. I do. I like both versions, but if I have to pick one and say it's better, I am picking the Giants. BO2 Zombies was carried by both Mob and Origins. Other than that, it's one of the worst in terms of map selection in Treyarch history pre-Cold War. BO2 is also clunky by today's standards. I don't agree that BO2 is clunky. I actually think BO2's movement is pretty nice. I'd say BO1 is pretty clunky, but not BO2. But BO2 Zombies is massively overrated. Like, yeah, it did have Mob and Origins, which are two of the best maps ever, but that's 2 out of 6 maps on this game. And let's go over the other 4 real quick. Transit, one of the worst maps in Zombies history. Nuketown, one of the most boring maps in Zombies history. Die Rise, one of the worst maps in Zombies history. And Buried, it's a snooze fest until round 50, and then after round 50, it's borderline impossible. So yeah, you're right on that part. Shadows of Evil's Easter egg is bad. Setting up to do the Easter egg is good, but as soon as you get Nero's book, it turns bad. I agree. As you all know, Shadows is my favorite map of all time. Like, that'll probably always remain the case. But that doesn't stop me from pointing out really glaring issues with Shadows, like the Easter egg being terrible. It's literally opening Pack-a-Punch, getting your upgraded sword, which you should be doing even if you're not doing the Easter egg. And then after that, you gotta protect the flag 8 times and trap the Shadow Man in the summoning key. If you're on 4-player, there's one more step to do after that, which is pretty fun to do. But those 2 steps that I just mentioned are so boring and so stupid and just not fun. Alpha Omega is the worst map of all time. Man, that's such a hot take. What else do you got for me? You gonna tell me that the sky is blue, or the grass is green, or Treyarch is washed? You got one incredible hot take right there. Let me hear another one you got. Descent is a top 5 zombies map. I think we found Noah's burner account. Alright, we're gonna end with this one because it's a pretty long comment. I'm hoping there's a lot to break down in here. Cold War was the downfall of zombies, not Vanguard. Even when reusing parts of the maps or certain assets, every Treyarch mode or map felt so unique that it didn't feel like a Call of Duty game, hence the constant public demand for a zombies-only game. Cold War was an absolute insult to that, copy and pasting the entire UI, removing special characters, adding dumb things like armor plates, making lazy environments that just felt like your typical COD maps. Nothing looked unique or interesting, and everyone just ate that up. Cold War showed Activision that the zombies community was willing to settle for less, and that's why the majority of the blame for the current condition of zombies is on the community, because they are the ones that didn't call out all the nonsense when it was getting shoved in their faces. There is a lot to unpack here. Mainly, I do agree with this, but also you gotta remember, Cold War showed Activision that we were willing to settle for less. I wouldn't say that, we were just so deprived of a new zombies game. After BO4, people just wanted a new zombies game to play. Plus, we were in the lockdown and stuff, and zombies was like getting hype back into it. Like Smith Plays was making map retrospectives, and Lex was making tier lists, and a lot of people were getting back into zombies. So I think pretty much no matter what, unless it was a Vanguard, I don't think the community would have been like, oh, this is terrible. After Cold War, like people that like Vanguard or people that like Modern Warfare Zombies, yeah, you could definitely say that for it, but I feel like it was different in 2020. But at the beginning of your comment, you say, even when Treyarch was reusing assets in previous maps, it felt unique so it didn't feel like a copy and paste. That is correct. Would you believe me if I told you Garad Krovi's boss fight and Garad Krovi's Pack-a-Punch are both recycled from Black Ops 3's campaign? Would you believe me if I told you that? You probably wouldn't, but it is. But you can't tell because they did a good job making it feel zombified. And even as far back as the very early stages of Zombies, back when they remade Airfield into Nocturne and Toten. Go play Airfield on World of War multiplayer, and then load into World of War Noct. There is such a massive difference from how the map is structured, to the ambience, to the lighting. It just does not feel the same at all. And if you didn't play Airfield enough to memorize the bunker, you probably wouldn't think, oh, this feels like a multiplayer map I'm playing. Whereas in modern Zombies, I feel like if you hop on Modern Warfare Zombies, you'd be like, oh, this is a Warzone map. Or if you hop on Forsaken, you're like, oh, this is just a campaign mission. Like, it's obvious there. Real quick though, removing the crew was a stupid idea. Exchanging the shield system for the armor system is a massive downgrade, and I will hear nothing to the contrary on that. Even though the modern Zombies trend did start with Cold War, like I said, there was a lot of factors that played into how Cold War released. So I don't think it's 100% fair to pin the blame solely on that, but at the same time, that is where it started, and that's where Activision's greed really started to shine through. So I can't really blame you for thinking this. Alright, that's all I gotta say. Leave a like, subscribe if you're new. Hope you had a good 2023, and I will see you all in 2024. Peace out.